This is my Precalculus course. Today you're going to take the third test of the course. Now, in the previous class, I gave you a practice test for homework, and we also did a practice test together. Don't take this test unless you've finished those two practice tests. Those tests are the absolute minimum that you need to prepare for this test. If you take this test and you fail it, then that means that all the work that I put into it will be for nothing. So again, remember, you cannot pass a math exam unless you study for the exam, and those practice tests are the minimum that you need to prepare. And if you want to get a really good score, you need to do more than those practice tests. You need to go back and make sure that you know how to do every single type of problem that we covered in the last 3-4 weeks, however long it's been. So I don't care how long it takes you to finish the test. It may take you an hour, it may take you 5 hours. I don't really care, as long as you can do this test without any help from anybody. So no textbook, no internet, no notes, no help from anybody. You need to do this on your own, from memory. That's the way it works with math courses. You need to demonstrate that you can study for a test and pass the test. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to be prepared for college, and you're not going to learn this material either. So clear off your desk. You should have a pencil and paper, and you need your calculator. It's very important to understand that you do need a calculator for this test. A pencil, a paper, a calculator, and you can use a timer if you want to. You don't really need to time yourself, but just to give you an idea of how long it takes you, you might want to time yourself. And that's about it. So let's go ahead and take screenshots of the test. So here's screenshot number 1 and number 2, number 3, and number 4, and number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8. So go ahead and pause the video and take the test, and when you're done, come back to this point in the video, and we'll talk about how to score your test. So pause the video, and I'll see you when you come back. Okay, we're back. So you should be done with the test. Don't look at the answers unless you're finished with the test. If you just look at the answers, then that pretty much makes the test pointless. So don't look at these answers until you finish the test. So here's a screenshot number 1 of the answers. And here's screenshot number 2 of the answers. And so let's now talk about how to score your test. So these are the scoring guidelines, and you're probably pretty familiar with these scoring guidelines. I don't think there were any problems, if I recall, that required units, so you don't have to worry about that. But we did have problems that required rounding. So make sure that you rounded correctly. Now this problem may be a little difficult to divvy out points for, because we have a 2-part problem for number 7, and this part has 8 graphs. So I know that may be a little difficult to assign points for, but this part, obviously, you would have, well, each problem is worth 4 points, so this part is worth 2 points. So if you did this part correctly, that would be 1 point, and if you did this part correctly, that would be another point. That's just one way that you could, think about this. And so for this problem, we have 2 points available for this part of the problem. Because again, we have 2 points and 2 points make 4 points. Each problem has 4 points. So if this problem is worth 2 points, well, there's 8 parts. So 2 divided by 8 is 1/4. So each one of these graphs would be 1/4 of a point. So just to make it absolutely clear, we have 1/4 plus 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 1/4, and then plus 1 plus 1 is a total of 4 points. So if there's any confusion about that, that's how you would, that's the most logical way to divvy out points for that problem. I tried to make it fairly easy to divide the points up, but on some of the problems, really just that problem, it was a little weird. Also, for this problem, there's 12 parts, so each part would be worth 1/3 of a point. Because if you multiply 1/3 by 12, you get 4 points. So the whole problem is worth 4 points. So sorry that was a little complicated there, but that's how you can do that. So at this point, I want you to go ahead and score your test, and when you're done, come back to this part of the video and we'll talk about how to grade the test. So go ahead and score your test, and when you come back, we'll grade it. Okay, we're back. So you don't really need to know this because this is just the basic scoring system that is used in the United States, and you've probably already seen this many times, but if you scored between 90 and 100, that means you did very well. If you scored in the 80s, that means you did well, but there's a few things you could work on. And if you scored in the 70s, that means you did well, but there's quite a few things you need to work on. And anything below that means that you really didn't do very well on the test. Now, if you didn't do well on the test, that doesn't mean that you're going to fail the entire course. It just means that you need to really get going with the picture here, because you need to change your study habits, or whatever you need to do. Make sure that you're doing all the homework correctly, completely, and neatly. A lot of students, they'll only do half the homework, and they think, well, that's all I need to do, and then they take the test and they fail it, and they wonder, why did I fail the test? Well, you didn't do the work. You have to do all the homework completely and correctly. You have to do all the problems that I give you during the videos, and you need to do the practice tests. And if you don't do those things, then you're probably not going to score very well on the test. So if you didn't score well on this test, then hopefully you scored well on the first 2 tests, and you'll score well on the 4th test and the final, and that'll raise your grade. Now, if you scored in the green, very good, I'm proud of you. And that's about it for this class. So this was test 3, and we're now going to move on to the 4th part of the course. So I'll look forward to seeing you in the next class.